Unit 5 Supplementary When Instinct Works. Anna Swell was an English writer of children's classic Black Beauty. Although it has come to be treated as a children's book, it was originally meant for those who take care of horses. She talks about kindness, sympathy, and understanding in the treatment of horses. So now let us move to the lesson. One morning in the autumn, my master had to go on a long journey. John harnessed me to the new cart. I liked to pull as it was very light and the high wheels rolled along so smoothly. It was about to rain. The weather was very windy and dry leaves blew across the road. Master, John, and I went along merrily till we came to the toll gate at the entrance to the low wooden bridge. The river banks were fairly high, so the bridge, instead of raising in the arc over the river, went across just level. In the middle, if the river was full, the water would be nearly up to the foot of the bridge. There were good, sturdy rails on both sides, so people were not afraid. The man at the toll gate said that the river was rising fast. He feared it would be a bad night. Many of the fields were already under water. In one low part of the road, the water was halfway up to my knees. But the cart was so good and the master drove gently, so it did not matter. So moving on to the explanation, children, this story is written as if the horse itself is speaking. So it is like an autobiography of a horse. The horse is telling the story. So he is telling one morning in autumn, his master, that is the horse master, the owner of the horse, had to go on a long journey. So they had to go somewhere on a long journey. So children, autumn means when leaves fall, season, okay. So at the time they had to go on a long journey, and John, he was the one who was riding the horse, the cart. So he harnessed him. Harnessed means he tied him to the cart, and he liked to pull it as it was very light and light wheels rolled down so smoothly. So he liked the horse liked it to pull it because it was very soft. The wheels were very soft, and the cart was very nice to be pulled. So he liked to travel very much. It was about to rain. The weather was very windy and dry leaves blew across the road. So it was very windy and the dry leaves were moving across the road. John and master and the horse went along merrily. They were very happily traveling till they came to a toll gate at the entrance of the low wooden bridge. So they came to a toll gate at the entrance of the bridge. The bridge was made of wood and it was very low, and the river banks were fairly high. So the bridge, instead of raising in the arc over the river, went across just level. So the river was just filled to the brim with water near the bridge. So in the middle, if the river was full, the water would be nearly up to the foot of the bridge. So if the river was full, means the bridge itself, it will cross. It was like that. It was very low. There were good sturdy rails on both sides, so people were not afraid. But people were not afraid to walk on the bridge because it had both the sides hand. They used to catch it, hold the rails and walk. So they were not afraid. The man at the toll gate said that the river was rising fast. So at the toll gate, the man warned them that it was rising very fast. The river was rising and it was a bad night, and many of the fields were already under water. In one low part of the road, the water was halfway up to my knees. So when he was standing there, it was nearly to the knees, the horse's knees. But the cart was so good and the master drove gently, so it did not matter. So the cart was very good and the master was just slowly driving, so he didn't bother. The horse he felt he could cross it. When he got into the town, I had a good wait. Master's business kept him for a long time, so we could not start for home till late in the afternoon. So master had business and they had gone there, so they were waiting for master to finish up his business. By then the wind was much stronger, and I heard master say to John that he had never been out in such a bad storm. We went through the wood where great branches were swaying about like twigs, and the wind made a terrible rushing sound. I wish I were out of this wood, said my master. So the horse felt that his master itself was afraid of the weather. He was talking to John about the bad weather. Then slowly they went through the wood where great branches were swaying along like twigs, and the wind made a terrible rushing sound. So the wind was making a terrible sound, and master said, I hope that we move out of this wood very quickly. That way the master was frightened. So he was in a hurry to move out. Yes, sir, replied John. So I hope no branches fall down on us. The words were hardly out of his mouth when there was a groan and a splitting sound. Then an oak tree that had been torn up by the roots came crashing down and fell right across the road in front of us. They were just stunned to see the tree falling down right in front, and the horse was telling that at the same time everything happened. I will never say I was not frightened of, for I was. So the horse is telling it was not frightened, it cannot say, but it was really frightened. And he stopped trembling. But he did not turn around or run away. He was not brought up like that. The horse wanted to move and cross take the master to his house. So John jumped out and in a moment was standing by my head. He held my bridle and calmed my nerves. So his owner, John, he came near him and he was just holding the bridle and he was calming down the horse. That was close. So what shall we do now? Asked my master. So the master was really worried because the tree was very close. And well, sir, we can't drive over this big tree and we can't get around it. We must go back to 4 crossways. Then it will be about 6 miles before we get to the wooden bridge again. It will make us late, but Black Beauty is fresh. But John replied that Black Beauty is very fresh, so really we can cross even though it is very long. The travel will be long. Then this happened sometimes when the river was flooding, so master did not stop. We were going along at a good speed, so they started going at a good speed. But the moment the horse's feet touched the ground, the first part of the bridge, felt sure that something was wrong and he just stopped. He had an instinct, that's called the instinct. He had a thought that something bad is going to happen and I should not go forward, I should stop. It gave an instinct to him. So he abruptly stopped. And go on beauty, that way they are asking him to go, the Black Beauty, the horse, to move. The master is telling, John is telling, but he didn't move. So John understood that something is wrong, so only he is not moving. He got down from the cart and came to my head. He took hold of my bridle and tried to lead me forward. So he is trying to pull the bridle and the horse forward, John. But Beauty he stood there very still. That time the other man at the toll gate on the other side ran out, flashing a torch like a madman. He came with a torch running towards them. Hoi, 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 stop, he cried. The other man was crying them. He was asking, cried means shouting here, okay, he shouted. He asked them to stop. What's the matter? Shouted my master. So from here the master is asking, what happened? The bridge is broken in the middle. Part of it has been carried away by the flood. If you come any further, you will be in the river. So he's telling the bridge had been broken in the middle. So it has broken in the middle. It is broken in the middle. So if you have come out and if you are further, you just move into the bridge. The whole bridge will come down and you will be into the river. Thank God, said my master. So master was really happy because if Black Beauty had gone, what would have happened? Everybody would have just fell into the river and become drowned, isn't it? They would have drowned inside the river. So now he was they were very surprised and very happy because Beauty saved their life. Black Beauty saved their life. You really are a beauty, said John, as he took hold of my bridle and gently turned me round. So he just came and he turned them round. Of course, I could not tell him what the problem was, but I knew very well that the bridge was not safe. So Black Beauty was thinking in his mind, I don't know what happened to me, but I knew that the bridge was not safe. I just had that intuition, he felt. The wind seemed to have settled down. It grew darker and darker, stiller and stiller. I trotted softly along, the wheels hardly making a sound on the soft, wet road. So they started moving. After the wind had settled down, they were moving very slowly through the road. They were crossing. They were going on the wet road, and the wheels were not making any sound. It was very quiet, and the road was very wet. Then Master told John that God had given people brains by which they can find things for themselves. He said, however, God had given animals a special knowledge which did not depend on thinking things out and was much quicker to respond to danger. This instinct in animals, he said, had often saved the lives of man. So John is telling his master, see, animals, they just know what is going to happen. They have that instinct. They will try to save its master on all the occasions, everywhere. Many people have just saved themselves and saved this. Animals have saved their lives. That way, John is explaining to the master. John had many stories to tell of dogs and horses and the wonderful ways they had saved the lives of people. So he was telling about many animals. He thought many people did not take very good care of their animals or make friends with them as they should do. Many people don't understand that animals are more superior to people, to human beings. They love their masters and they take care of their masters more than them. They are always loyal to their masters. So John was very proud of the Black Beauty, how it saved their lives. At last they went to the master's house. They reached the master's house. They saw that all the lights were on, and as we came up to the door, the mistress ran out to greet the master. So as soon as they went there, the mistress came out. That is the master's wife. She ran and came. Are you safe, my dear? Oh, I have been so worried about you. Did you have an accident? So she's very much worried. She's asking her husband. No, my dear, but if Black Beauty had not been wiser than we were, all three of us would have been drowned by the wooden bridge. So Black Beauty was so wise, and that means she was so clever that she stopped us from a great danger. She saved us. Otherwise, all of us would have drowned at the wooden bridge. They went into the house, and I heard no more. So the horse was outside, so he couldn't hear their conversation. John took me to the stable. John went to the stable. Oh, what a good supper he gave me that night. He gave him a good food, and he treated him very well. John was so proud of him. And then a really thick bed of straw. I was grateful for everything, for I was tired. So he was very tired, so he was very happy. And the horse, that is the Black Beauty, was very much happy because it had done a very great job. It had saved its master's life. Children, hope you understood what the story and about the importance of instinct in animals. We think they are just animals, but actually they have another sense. They are able to understand what dangers are before them, and they shrewdly act and try to save their master at any cost. Hope you loved the story. Thank you.